This is really kind of the last step of the process. Right. It all starts like literally here.
These North Texas brothers are the brains behind several family games you can find for sale at Barnes & Noble.
We literally about fell out of our chairs. We were just like, holy cow, Barnes & Noble is going to have our games in the stores.
And not just one game. These guys have 5 games in stores. How these two guys got here is fascinating.
Go back 10 spaces.
Both grew up in a home where memories were made around the kitchen table.
You know, when we were growing up, we'd go visit our grandparents in Florida, and whenever, after dinner, we always got together and played, you know, card games, or we'd play other board games, and it was a great chance for everybody to get around the table and laugh and have a good time. Get a 1. Who's gonna get a 1? No!
In 2011, Troy was laid off from his semiconductor job in California. He packed up his bags and headed to the Dallas area where his brother also lives. It was his family's love for games that gave him the idea to design one.
I was doing an acrostic using my girlfriend's name, and so I was kind of working through that, and I'm like, you know, this would be an interesting idea for a game. So I kind of scratched out the general idea of the game, and I ran it past my brother.
His brother, who works as a financial strategy consultant, took a look at the game and agreed to help create it. The two set up this room they called their design production room and started hashing out their ideas.
You know, part of my job is really kind of a lens to help focus some of that and shape some of that idea. Say, is it interesting? Would people play that? Does it interest me? Does the game have enough action to it?
Getting a final product they both agreed on to send to retailers took a while.
It took us probably a year and a half to get to a good prototype that we could take to retailers.
Their first game, called Mkata, is an acrostic word game.
If you remember in grade school, like the teacher would have you spell out your name vertically, and then using every letter of your name, you describe yourself with some adjective. So the idea behind Mkata is that we have a deck of cards, and so on every card there's a topic category. And so I draw a card, I give you a word, you draw a card, you give me a word, and then we spell that out vertically as our acrostic, and then you come up with all the words related to your acrostic. So it's all about word association.
One of the toughest parts? Manufacturing the game.
We didn't just go, okay, I'm gonna go to a box maker and have them make, you know, 10,000 boxes for me. So initially we started out, we were doing all this stuff by hand and putting it together because, one, you learn a lot, but we wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't diving in too deep. We wanted to make sure we had a clear understanding of how all the pieces fit together. Initially, we made all the boxes ourselves. I learned how to make a box.
Before the brothers sent out their game to try to sell it to retailers, it had to pass final inspection. They brought it to their parents.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get to roll again.
They took some of our ideas and put them into the rules and that sort of thing.
You know, we were their greatest critics, and we'd be honest with them. We didn't have to worry about what they thought of it. But you know, I really didn't find things wrong because I really enjoyed it.
I told my brother, I said, look, you know, we got this game together. I said, we're going to go for a home run here. We either go for Barnes & Noble and make it, or we don't.
Coming up, how these brothers got their big break, their plans for the future, and what they think it takes to make it big if you want to start a successful company. These two North Texas brothers hit it big when Barnes & Noble took an interest in a family game they created called Mkata.
You know, it was about a 4-month waiting process once we submitted that game. So you're like, boy, we're going up against the big guys. 4 months later, we get this email and says, we're going to use Mkata in our fall planogram. It was an amazing moment.
Since then, these brothers have created 4 more games sold at Barnes & Noble. Seekin is a number puzzle game.
So the idea behind that game is there's 3 different levels of it. Each person has a number tiles, they put it into a matrix, and then you're using addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to solve the puzzle. So again, it's another 5-minute round type of game, but it's a good game because not only does it help you with your math skills, but it helps you with that combinatorial skills, because that's where that's what you really need in order to solve that particular puzzle.
And Takaro is an anagram exchange game.
Meaning, like, if I took the word listen and I rearranged the letters, I could get the word silent. Red, you're red?
Am I last?
Oh, there you go.
What'd I
The
get?
Waz
Ooh,
scepter.
you landed on the Waz scepter. So you went from being a bronze medalist to a gold medal contender.
All of these games designed by these two brothers and approved by their proud parents. We had to ask, Mom and Dad, do you ever sugarcoat your thoughts about a game?
No,
No, not really. don't have
we
to.
never have. We don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to.
The brothers always appreciate their feedback. After all, they want generations to be able to enjoy these games.
And you might be surprised that you're really good at some games and just maybe you're kind of average compared to the rest of your family in other games.
When we create games, the idea is, how can we get the whole family involved? So we want to, all of our games are designed for ages like 10 and up. So we don't, we want the young kids to be able to play, their parents, their grandparents, the siblings. So we want to get everybody around the table. All the games are designed in 5 to 10 minute rounds. So it's supposed to be very interactive and, educational at the same time. And you can really learn a lot from these games.
One of my favorite parts was it was 10 minutes. The family can do it. And, what parent doesn't have time to spend 10 minutes with their children?
The brothers' newest games released this year?
Sum to Zero, which is a card game, kind of based on a spin of like a zero-sum game theory. And then we've also come out with a board game called Atticus Scroll Journey of the Pharaoh. So it's a game where you can, it's a very simple type of board game, but at the same time it's great because you can learn a little bit about Egyptian history.
The board game has been one of their biggest challenges.
It was a major jump from the time we go from idea through successive prototypes. From this to final, we probably went through 15 different game boards.
It took a tremendous amount of research to put this game together compared to Imkata or some of the other games that we created.
The brothers are working on ideas for future games. They believe in a world with people focused so much on their personal technology devices that games like the ones they make can bring families together. Their advice for any other entrepreneurs out there? Don't give up.
You just got to be passionate about it and persevere and just not quit, because some ideas, yeah, but we scratch them off. But I always think to myself that there's probably, throughout that development process, I've learned something that I can apply to a game that actually does make it to market. The one from Susa has taken statues from your temples back to his land. Go back 2 spaces.
I'm jealous.
I love social media.
Me and Brent compete.
Do you?
Yes, I haven't hit the 5,000 mark yet.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you still work out? You obviously still work out.
Yes.
That's a silly question.
Yes.